Hello, everyone. Mike Starks with Remax Town and Country here, bringing you the 2024 first quarter real estate market report for Fredericksburg and Gillespie County. And I guess really the best way to describe the first quarter of 2024 for real estate is average. We're really not up much, but we're really not down much from last year. So as usual, let's just dive straight into the numbers. So we'll start off talking about total sales for all of Gillespie County. From January 1st to March 31st of 2024, we've sold $60,327,000. And for the first quarter of 2023, we'd sold $63,337,000. So we're about 7.66 below the total dollar sales from last year. But we actually have had a greater number of transactions for the first quarter of this year compared to last. For the first quarter of this year, we've sold 101 individual properties in Gillespie County, and you compare that to 2023, we'd sold 90 individual properties. So the number of transactions were actually up 12.22%. So like I said, no big news here. We're not super busy, but we're really not all that slow either. Now, if you compare 2023 and 2024 back to the numbers we were running back in 2022, we're only doing about the half the volume that we were doing back then. But you got to keep in mind 2022 was really a crazy year. And that said, I think the overall market is really kind of picking up right now. I think we've probably escrowed a lot of things in late February, early March that are going to be closing in April and May. So I think we're going to see a pretty strong second quarter. I know I've been much busier in the last couple of months and just talking with folks at the title company, other realtors. I think activity overall has been getting a lot stronger. So let's dive into home sales in the Fredericksburg city limits. As always, I'll let the numbers do the talking. For the first quarter of 2024, we've sold 35 homes with a value of $18,831,000 compared to the first quarter of 2023, where we'd sold 32 homes with a value of $17,741,000. So the total dollar sales is up about 6.41%, and the number of individual homes that have sold is up 9.37%. And then just to take a look how home prices are doing, let's start with the average price per foot of a home in Fredericksburg city limits. So for 2024, the average price per foot of a house for the first quarter is $286.42 per foot. You compare that to the first quarter of 2023 when the average price per foot was $282.92 per foot. That's a modest increase of about 1.24%, putting the average price of a house for the first quarter of this year at $538,044. Now, if you're looking at this and watching this and you're thinking, wait a minute, I remember Mike saying last year that the average price per foot of a house was more like $330 a foot. Well, you're not crazy. The average price for all the homes sold last year was $334.19 per foot. However, those numbers included short-term rentals. And that short-term rentals always sell for an elevated price because they're income producing. But last year, for the first time, our MLS actually had a completely separate category for short-term rentals. So starting this year, I'm going to start breaking out short-term rentals and single-family homes into two different categories. So for the next few market reports, you'll probably get tired of me talking about if you're looking at the site and you're seeing a massive change in the price per foot of a house, it's because of the categorization I'm doing, not an actual price drop. And I think comparing apples to apples is going to be much better in the long run because I'm interested to see just how big of a spread short-term rentals are from single-family home residences. So that'll be interesting to look at over the next few years. So talking about STRs, in 2024, first quarter, we sold 15 short-term rentals for a value of $9,120,000. You compare that to 2023's first quarter, we'd sold 7 short-term rentals for a total of $6,999,000. So that's an increase of 30.3% in total dollar sales over over last year for the first quarter. And if you look at prices, the average price per foot of an STR in Fredericksburg in 2023 was $459.90. You compare that to the first quarter of 2024, where the average price per foot of an STR is $496.72. That's an increase of 8.06% for the average STR. Yeah, and the average price of an STR right now for the first quarter of 24 is $608,017, which might kind of sound a little bit low, but that's just because most of the what has sold this year has been smaller units with an average of 1,200 square feet. Then rural residential sales, they're actually doing very well for the first quarter of 2024. We've sold 22 homes on acreage in the first quarter with a value of $18,274,000. You compare that to 2023's first quarter, we'd sold 16 homes for a total of $13,450,000. So that's an increase of 37.5% in the number of rural properties that have sold. Um, and if you're wondering, what priced homes are selling right now, probably definitely the busiest segment of the market is under 500,000. So for the first quarter of this year, we've had 34 home sales under 500,000, and we only have 74 active listings under 500,000. So that's about a 6-month supply or 6-month inventory for homes. Then if we look at between 500 and $1 million, we've sold a healthy 31 homes since January 1st. But there we currently have 131 homes actively listed. So at that price point, we got about a year's supply. However, if you look at homes over $1 million, we've only sold 8 homes this year, and we have 93 active listings. So that's almost a 3-year supply. So some of the higher end stuff has taken a little longer to move. However, I think that we'll see that segment of the market pick up as the year progresses as well. Let's see, moving on to land sales. Again, first quarter, best way to describe the market is average. Prices are slightly up, but nothing huge. And overall sales is, really not setting any records. For the first quarter of 2024, we've only sold 562 acres in Gillespie County with a total of $11,775,000. And the average land price for acreage is $20,916 in 22 cents for the first quarter of 24. And just to give you the, per acre price for the different segments of the market, 1 to 5 acres for the first quarter of this year, average is $58,454,000. 6 to 10 acres is averaging $38,540. 11 to 25 acres, $19,949. The 26 to 50 acre segment of the market haven't had any sales yet this year. So just last year's number was $26,367. 51 to 100 acres, average for this year so far, $12,609 per acre. 101 to 250 acres for this year, first quarter's averaging $16,522. And over 250 acres, we haven't had any sales yet this year. So just using last year's number, that was $17,815. And also really pretty quiet on the commercial front for the first quarter as well. So I'll end it there for now because really the first quarter of the year is almost always the slowest quarter of the year, which means we just don't have a lot of data to analyze. But even though we're a little under last year's sales numbers right now, I really think we'll make up a lot of ground in the second quarter because I'm really seeing a boost in activity right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if by the mid-year report we're a little ahead of last year. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what the next 3 months brings. But for now, you can view all these stats on my site at mikestarks.com under the information tab. And as always, thanks for watching.